that judges have an opportunity to impact, constituents' lives in a great way. And I know that I have the proper training, I have the compassion. I've been very active, over the past 20 some odd years of my life since I've been licensed to practice. I'm active in the community and I connect with the community. And I think it's important that you have someone on benches that can relate to the struggles that people have within the community, who can couple that when they're analyzing the law and applying the facts to the law, and understand that people who come in front of you, their life didn't just suddenly begin the moment they come in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we can find some judges in the criminal justice system to be overly harsh when they don't know the circumstances or they haven't taken a deep dive into what's going on in the background. And I'm not talking about, I know that judges have an opportunity to impact, constituents' lives in a great way. And I know that I have the proper training, I have the compassion. I've been very active, over the past 20 some odd years of my life since I've been licensed to practice. I'm active in the community and I connect with the community. And I think it's important that you have someone on benches that can relate to the struggles that people have within the community, who can couple that when they're analyzing the law and applying the facts to the law, and understand that people who come in front of you, their life didn't just suddenly begin the moment they come in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we can find some judges in the criminal justice system to be overly harsh when they don't know the circumstances or they haven't taken a deep dive into what's going on in the background. And I'm not talking about we have 3 elections coming up, and I know it's a lot, but I'm encouraging everyone to make sure that their voices are heard each and every time. So August 3rd, we have the congressional primary, and your candidate can be whoever. Just make sure you go out and vote. Then we're going to need you to go back out on September 14th. That's going to be the mayoral and the council people primary. And then November 2nd is the general election. I definitely need everyone to go out for that one. That will be the first time that you're going to see my name on the ballot. So I'm going straight to the general. I don't have any primaries. And the 2 prior elections, you're not going to see my name. But I don't want anyone to forget about me. I don't want anyone to, just dismiss it. Definitely go out on November 2nd. And I don't have the dates offhand for when early voting starts. So early voting for the congressional primary, I believe, is July the 7th.
July 7th,
I think that's
3 days after the Independence Day holiday.
Yeah, so you can, if you don't want to go to the ballot box in person, if you're still not comfortable with the pandemic, then you can do early voting for sure. And for the general election, early voting is going to start on October the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you don't want to go out, and so I encourage people to utilize that. It's really easy to vote from home.
Right.
And then you don't know what the weather's going to look like on November 2nd. And, sometimes people say, oh, it's too cold, I'm not going to go out. No, your vote is too important to just blow it off because of weather. So if you're a little, iffy about going out on November 2nd, then just request your ballot to be sent to you at home, and then vote from home at the comfort of your own table. It's really it's easy. Yeah, I do or I have done the absentee. When I campaigned and, I was running for the seat, I had to do it because, on the day of election, I was campaigning and going around and still meeting people, so I had to do it early. And, I haven't had any problems with it. We have many ways to do it, making it really easy for us. So please take advantage. Take advantage. And whatever you do and whoever you vote for is your business. Just as long as it includes Andrea Nelson Moore.
As long as it includes Andrea Nelson Moore. Yeah.
Anybody else, that's your business. But I want to be your candidate.
Okay. So Speaking of candidate, how can people, and we're going to ask this again, and I'm going to get rid of the meat and potatoes because she got to pay us. How can people donate the dollars and cents to the campaign? How can people volunteer to be on the campaign? How can people get one of them lovely Andrea Nelson Moore t-shirts that you lovely sport? How can people who believe that you should be the next Cleveland Municipal Court judge, how can people donate, contribute information, Facebook, any social media, any LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just rattle them off.
All right, so you can reach me on Facebook. It's Andrea Nelson Moore for Judge. You can reach me on Instagram. It is ANM, the number 4 Judge. So my initials, the A for Andrea, the N for Nelson, the M for Moore. On Instagram, on Twitter, it's the same as, the, what is it, not the hash.
Hashtag. Add.
Yes, the at ANM, the number 4 Judge. In terms of contributions, I have a website that's going to be going live very soon. So that will be my full name, Andrea Nelson Moore for Judge.com. You can reach me via email at Andrea Nelson Moore, the number 4 Judge at gmail.com, or you can call, we have a line, 216-815-5356. So there are ways for you to get in touch with me. Of course, I have assistants helping man those lines, but you can certainly get in touch with me, find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please follow me. I would love to see your faces, hear from you. Just reach out to me. And in terms of contributions, if you want to mail do people still write checks? Well, for those who still write checks.
You need everything, okay? Dang it. They still write checks, money orders, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can send a payment directly to my treasurer. His name is Amos Masua. So the check will be made out to the committee to elect Andrea Nelson Moore. His address is 1111 Superior Avenue, Suite 1340. Cleveland, Ohio, 44115. And there's also a PayPal button on the website. So there are multiple ways.
Okay. So PayPal, no Cash App, nothing like that? Yeah. You don't want to use the Cash App neither?
Cash App makes me a little nervous. I've heard horror stories about people's accounts, being completely cleaned out, and I tell you what, I need all the money I can get to run this race, so I don't want anyone taking my little chips that I have for this campaign. So Cash App, I'm still a little leery about. But besides that, with Cash App, when you make contributions, we have to get like your name,
right, name and telephone,
and contact information, because that has to be provided to the state. So it's
the PayPal would be easy because it shows your name and everything else.
Right.
Like Cash App, you can make up any old name, like Little Princess for life. Who is Little Princess on this report? So you can't do, or I don't know, what is it, twerk body for forever. You can't do that hash. You can't do that Cash App sign. So you got to have the actual name.
Yeah. And judicial campaigns, they're tough on us. They're a lot different from any other campaign. So, our rules are a little stricter, and, some people may or may not, like providing the information, but we have to, or we'll get, called down to Columbus, and who needs that type of headache during a campaign or what?
This is for a Juneteenth celebration. So other than that, it is. I gotta give a couple of so let's see. There's some shout out to Ebony Spano for having her Juneteenth celebration. There's also going to be a revival on Friday at Sure House Baptist Church, 11318 Miles Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44120. That is Reverend Pastor Veal will be speaking along. There'll be candidates there. There'll be food there. It's going to be revival outside. Shout out to Pastor Aaron Phillips for giving that information. A whole bunch of Juneteenth celebrations, including the Oak Street Health Juneteenth celebration on 105 in St. Clair. I'll go to that one. There's a whole bunch. So check your social media events for any Juneteenth. I will possibly be in Columbus. Shout out to my cousin Virgil Brown for inviting me down to Columbus for their Juneteenth celebration. If you're having a Juneteenth celebration in your backyard or a Father's Day celebration, make sure that you celebrate, people, especially Black fathers, Black mothers, everything. So speaking of celebration and your family, you want to shout out your family?
I love to shout out my family. Let me shout out, first of all, the Queen and the King, the very people who made me into who I am today. My mom, Cassandra, Councilwoman Cassandra Nelson.
She a councilwoman in Richmond Heights, right?
Richmond Heights, yes she is.
Okay.
Yes she is. And my dad, Isaac Nelson. Give a shout out to my darling child, Alyssa. She's away at college, making her mom so proud. My brother, Isaac, and my niece and nephews, Alexis, Ike, Mason, and Cam. And really my extended family. I'm shouting out my team of people who are working diligently and daily with me on this race. I appreciate every one of you. You know who you are. Sometimes I can't share everything because I don't know who's listening and who may not be fans. I don't want them to get my people.
Right, exactly. Just say your team. What about your husband? What about him?
Oh, Larry, that's another discussion.
Oh.
Lord have mercy. So
I ain't gonna. If it's too personal.
No, it's not too personal. Unfortunately, so many others, sometimes things don't work out. Can't. I'm not gonna say that things ended on a sour note because for me they didn't. I would never say anything bad about him at all. Good brother. All
right, good father. See, that's what I'm talking. See, the thing about it is, I'm sad at first, but this woman right here didn't get it. Like she could have just. I'm gonna bash this sucker. No. She ain't bash. She just said, you know what?
Professional.
She is, that's who you want to represent you in any kind of court situation. Judge, attorney, whatever. Professional, smooth with it. Just so, dang you. Why you gotta be so perfect?
I'm not. I'm far from perfect. I am far from perfect. I don't see any sense in bashing people. What for? These headphones are about to fall off my head. But no, I'm not gonna bash him for what?
Right. And you are so. And the thing about it is that the one thing about Andrea Nelson Moore is that you're so real. And the thing about it is, like, I can honestly say that if I've seen Andrea Nelson Moore anywhere, Andrea has always been gracious, kind, and civil to everybody that she meets, no matter who voted for her or not. So I can actually personally say that. It's not an endorsement or anything because Headline Eye is nonpartisan. But from Larry H. Gardner's personal experience, I can say that, every time I've seen you out, wherever, you've always been gracious, kind, and personal. And I'm not saying this because I want money from you. But just kidding. But the thing about it is that I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it because every time, and you're always gracious and down for helping out people. So, down to earth, can people take that as you being real, or some people are like, this is a facade. This is not her for real.
No, it's definitely who I am. I don't know how anyone switches from one setting or from one person to the other. It would be too hard for me to remember different facades and different personalities to put on. This is who I am. What you see is what you get. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm far from perfect. I'm not perfect at all. But I am who I am. I can only give you who I am. I can't pretend to be anyone else, because if I'm pretending to be someone else, who's going to be me? I like who I am as a
Right.
person. I like being kind to people. I like treating people like I want to be treated. That's, just me. I can't make up for, and I can't address how anyone else acts. I'm only accountable for my actions. And I remember that. I know from which I came. I know what my parents have instilled in me.
Wow.
So I'm one of those people. I have to always behave in a way that's representative of my family. I just have that type of pride for my family. So I'm not going to carry on one certain way and then switch off. It's too difficult to remember, so I'd rather just give you Andrea Nelson Moore. I'm just going to be her all the time, regardless of who likes it or dislikes it.
That sounds like, a black fish that goes up in the air. So, let's repeat again, how can people donate to your campaign and things of that nature?
Sure. Mail in a check, money order to my treasurer, Amos Maswa. His name is, let me spell it, Amos. Maswa is M as in Mary, A-H, S as in Sam, U-A. Check written out to the committee to elect Andrea Nelson Moore, 1111 Superior Avenue, Suite 1340, Cleveland, Ohio, 44115. Or you can go to my website, www.andreanelsonmoore4judge.com. There's a PayPal button on that. That's a way to donate. If you see a team member out, you can give the money directly to my treasurer. That's fine. I cannot accept money directly from anyone. That would be a violation. And again, reach out to me on Facebook, Andrea Nelson Moore, 4 Judge. The committee to elect Andrea Nelson Moore on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter. It's either the # or the @ A, N as in Nancy, M as in Moore, 4 Judge. So there are multiple ways you can get in touch with me. And again, you can email me, Andrea Nelson Moore, 4 Judge @gmail.com, or call 216-815-5356. Oh, and let me know if you need one of those Andrea Nelson for More beautiful yard signs. I have those available. T-shirts, I have those available. So just get at me.
All right. Are you an AKA?
No, sir, I'm not.
It's like, but them lovely signs, those lovely green signs look so lovely.
But they're not green and pink.
Right. No, I'm like, that's why I was like, but it looks so good. I was like, I had to ask that question because, you don't know the affiliation that
Right.
you have.
Right.
But the thing about it is that you have a lot of people begging on your corner, your team. So, how do you feel about, you talk about an opponent or an opponent in the future. How do you feel about having not a debate, but a forum with you and whoever's running against you, whoever they may be? How would you feel about being a part of that?
Part of a forum?
Yeah.
I'm always willing to participate in forums. Because I think that's the best way for voters to get to know, the candidates. Not sure exactly what you would debate as a judicial candidate, but to discuss your take on issues that we're able to speak on. And, I know a lot of times people get frustrated when they ask a question to a judicial candidate, but, there are certain canons where we are not supposed to say,
Right.
We support this position, or, this is what we would do as a judge, because we're supposed to always be fair and impartial and
Right.
objective.
Yes.
So it's not that, we're being elusive or trying to avoid talking about a subject, but there are just certain canons that govern judicial candidates that are not applicable to
you can't
other candidates.
Right. You can't ask a congressional candidate who has the power to go to Washington and change some laws the same question you have a judicial candidate. A lot of people get frustrated with that. Understandable. But the thing about it is that, when you're in the communities, then it affects, especially in the impoverished communities. The ones that were hit hardest by the pandemic was us. Like the impoverished communities. It's a lot of, like with the pandemic, even though there was a lot of free money rolling around, well, not necessarily free, it was given. It was a lot of frustration because there's been a lot of issues with domestic violence. The person that you shacking up with, you didn't want to be with during the pandemic, was you locked down with that same person. And also, there's job loss, opportunity loss. And the thing about it is there's still, and not only just domestic violence, but violence, period. We had people shot, in the city, shot and killed in the city of Cleveland, especially over the weekend. What do you think about, what's going on in the city, and how can communities come together and change these? Because according to reports, the police only solve 2 to 3% of crime. How can communities come together and help stop the bloodshed?
So I think we have to get back to the basics of community. We have so many people who you don't even know who your neighbors are. You don't even know who your neighbors' children are. And we've gotten so far from a sense of community because we're in our own little separate world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, if me and mine are okay, then, we're fine. But that cannot be how we function as a society. You have to be concerned about your neighbors and your community as a whole. Mm-hmm. So I think the first thing would be, let's just get back to the basics of community and getting to know who our neighbors are, being concerned about, what's going on with our neighbors, because ultimately it does impact us as a whole community. Things that start on a small scale, they spill out. So that would be the first thing. And, learn how to, quote unquote, police your own community. It can be something as simple as, all right, take for instance, littering. Picking up litter and showing how, you have concern about how your community or your street looks. When people see you doing things positive, then you don't know who's watching and who that can spark to start saying, okay, well, maybe I should be more concerned about what my community looks like. And when we start, having that type of concern about where we're living, because we have to live there. It grows from there. So you policing your own community, getting to know, the children in your community, being willing to serve as mentors. We have to get beyond simply saying, well, you just do whatever you're doing, and talking to one another. If you see something that's not right, then you can have a civil conversation without coming down on someone or feeling as though you're looking down your nose. But you have to be willing to have conversations, because you don't know why someone may be engaging in a particular action, and you don't know if they know a better way to do it. So if you have a better way to do it, and you're willing to share and to make someone else better along the way, you just don't know what that does for your community. And I just think we have gotten so far. We've gotten to be such an individualistic type of society as opposed to a communal society. And I don't think that has worked for us in our communities.
So you live in Ward 1, Lee Harvard area, correct? How long have you been a resident of Ward 1?
So just a little bit under a year now.
Which part of Cleveland did you grow up in?
So let's go back. All right, let me tell you about.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you about the family. So my dad is one of 9. My mom is one of 10.
Jesus, I got a big family. Thanksgiving must be like you gotta take out a mortgage.
All fit. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way. We can't all fit. So we jump from house to house. So, my dad was raised on 79th and Decker. So that was, the first family home that I was familiar with. My mom was, she lived on, 86 and Wade Park, 89th Superior. So that's, where the base is. But the very first home that my dad purchased was in Ward 10 on 149. So that's around the corner from Collinwood.
Right.
So that really was the family home that we were in the longest. Eventually, my parents, when they were married, they moved us to East Cleveland. That's when we went to East Cleveland.
Right.
Um, and then they eventually moved to University Heights.
Mm.
I graduated from Heights, went to Baldwin Wallace, went to Cleveland State, and then my first job from law school was at the city of Cleveland in the fair housing department. I was a fair housing specialist. So my career, or my legal career, began in the city of Cleveland. It's still Ward 10, but I lived in the apartments. It was 1939 Green Road.
Wow.
So that's where my initial legal career started in the city of Cleveland. Eventually, I got married and I went with my husband. Which I was supposed to do. So we lived in the suburbs, and I always would say I wanted to move back into the city of Cleveland because I think, you have to be willing to put your income tax back into the city. I think when they got away from having the residency requirement, it took so much money out of the city of Cleveland.
Right.
So I always wanted to come back, to the city of Cleveland where I can live in the city, I can work in the city, and I can play in the city.
Right.
That's really important to me. And so, once I got my divorce, I moved back into the city of Cleveland.
But pretty much
So I'm a prodigal's daughter.
Right.
In the city of Cleveland.
So pretty much you wanted to invest and reinvest into the city of Cleveland because you wanted to see, it prosper. And it's like the thing about it is like the city of Cleveland is a wonderful, wonderful city. If you look at everything, even including the communities, they have such wonderful parks, and it's very beautiful. It's just the problem is that we, like you said, with littering and things of that nature, you got to keep up with you got to keep up with it. Eventually, if you leave garbage around your house, it's not going to look so beautiful with that nice furniture on it when you got papers everywhere. So.
The city of Cleveland has some beautiful attractions. We have beautiful amenities. We have beautiful people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And people laugh at the city and say, okay, we're always on the map for something negative. Listen, we have issues, or you're going to have issues no matter where you go.
Right. Chicago.
It doesn't matter where you go.
New York.
It's always going to be some issue in one fashion or another. And particularly right now, when we're coming out of a pandemic, people don't have access to income. There is an uptick in crime across the nation. It's not just the city of Cleveland. We focus more on it because we're here, but it's not just the city of Cleveland that's having issues with, the uptick in crime. And we have to do better, because quite frankly, if we're waiting for someone to come and save us, it's not going to happen. So we need to be the change that we want to see. And that's just the bottom line.
Exactly.
If you're looking for someone to come and save you, it's not going to happen. So we have to start, holding ourselves accountable and doing better, because the objective, at least for me, is to make sure we leave this place in a better condition and a better place for the generations that are coming after us.
Right. You said the key word, hold accountable. You have to hold people like judges. So judges hold other judges accountable if they're messing up.
Should they?
Yes.
I think if you have a relationship, I think you need to be straight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But see, again, even with that, who determines if someone is messing up? Because you got to remember, even just as individuals who come before a judge don't just arrive there when they show up that day. Judges have a history.
Right.
Judges have background. Judges have things that were instilled in them. So, who's to say you're messing up versus you're not messing up? But I tell you, who can hold the judges accountable? The voters. If you see a judge who does something or makes a ruling that you don't like, there's a way you can hold them accountable. It's called voting.
Go to that ballot box and you're fired.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
because those seats don't belong to the judges that sit in them. Those seats belong to the citizens, the community. So, no one is so above or so out of touch that, you get to a point where, hey, I can do what I want to do because I'm Judge so-and-so. No, those seats belong to the citizens that elected you. So, yeah, you can hold judges accountable by voting.
Before because it's a little bit past 8 o'clock, and I know you have to get going, and we all have to get going. And even though it's we got one more time for one more break, T Rex, or all right, all right, we got to wrap it up. What is the last thing you want to say to the voters out there that are listening, and to the ones that are undecided to support you? One thing you want to say: why should they vote for Andrea Nelson Moore on the ballot?
Because Andrea Nelson Moore is not just qualified professionally and doesn't just have the competency professionally to execute this job with precision. I am culturally competent as well as emotionally competent, and those go hand in hand with professional competency. And that's what we need to serve us on this bench. We want someone who is compassionate, who is fair, who can be objective, and I am all of those things. Now, couple that with the 22 years that I'm bringing along with me, you have the ideal candidate that's able to serve you and make sure that everyone who comes into that courtroom is treated with respect and treated with fairness. You may not necessarily agree with decisions that I'm going to make, but you will not be able to walk out of there and say she was not fair and she didn't treat me with respect.
Well, my God. All right. Amen. Jesus to that. When we close, I can't pass a collection plate because I don't have one. So I thank you, Andrea Nelson Moore, for stopping by. And the thing about it is, before November comes up, so remember November 2nd.
November 2nd.
Remember November 2nd. So you don't have a primary. Judges don't have a primary. You're going all the way through to the general.
Yes.
So remember Andrea Nelson Moore, November 2nd on the ballot. We're going to wrap it up tonight, and we're going to wrap it up because she just made me get into formation. We're going to wrap it up with Beyonce's Formation right about now. All right, so this is the Headline Eye with Larry H. Gardner, the human T-Rex, saying, if nobody tells you that they love you today, I do. We'll be out. We'll be back next week. Peace, love, and hair grease. We out.